Yes, guys, hello and welcome to another episode of Spurs Related. I hope you're all doing very well and busy day, busy week of transfer news. We're going to get you straight back up to date with everything that's happening, including the big news today. Tier 1 sources saying that Conte is confirmed staying at Spurs. For anyone that was doubting that one and saying, he's doing top four and going, he's here to stay. He's here for the project and he's here to get the summer transfer window underway. Andre, how you doing, my man? Are you happy with the news today?
Well, of course, I'm very happy. And I didn't really doubt that he would be staying, but it really did come to that meeting that happened. I believe it was today with Perišić and Levy in terms of making sure that they're on the same page, making sure that Conte knows that the club is going to back him with these transfers. Because if it's not, look what happened with Inter, right? They won the league and he left because Inter was like, we have to sell players. He was like, yeah, I'm good. So this
Exactly,
must be
yeah.
good news. We're going to be bringing in lots of players and probably selling a bunch as well.
Exactly. We'll get straight into the things. Today's episode is focusing on kind of wing backs and defenders, isn't it, Andre? And obviously the two links this week has been Perisic and Kostic. Perisic of Inter Milan and Kostic of Frankfurt. Two very decent players, versatile wing backs, and also could potentially mean a departure of Reguilon and maybe even Matt Doherty apparently as well. But personally, I can't see that. I could see Reguilon, and that's about it. But Andre will get into the kind of crux of the news and the tier one sources on that. Andre, I'm not sure where you want to start, mate. Obviously, welcoming in a few people. Jay saying, "Great, keep up the great work, guys." Coys, thanks, Jay. Appreciate that. Vincent is saying Conte staying, loving it. No idea what that means. It could have been something rude, for all I know. And on your bike, Scott with the best profile picture on YouTube saying, "Big up, lads, Coys, what a legend." Guys, remember to smash the thumbs up if you do want lots of transfer videos throughout the summer. We're going to try and go as daily as possible with these. We've actually got Jack Burford, who's going to be doing more regular videos with us. I know you guys love him on the vlogs. He's got great insights, so he'll be doing some of the videos as well when myself or Andre can't do it as well. Spurs Graphics in here. Big up Ginny saying, do you think Perisic will start considering his age, and where do you think he'll fit in? Listen, I think he's very much a Conte player. I mean, Conte normally goes for more experienced players anyway. His work rate is ridiculous. I'm sure Andre will have some stats on this. And listen, he may be 33 years of age, but he is a workhorse, and he will very much in. Personally thinking, I'm thinking right wing back, left wing back, probably right wing back, right, Andre. But Kostic is obviously the other option, so it depends if we sign him as well. HMQ, I'm seeing you in a while, mate. Hope you're doing very well. He says, why am I seeing Kane to Liverpool talk? Don't worry about that, mate. Kane is here to stay. I'm very sure of that. Kane is also said this week, Andre will be able to help me out on this one, but he's very happy at Spurs. He's very content with the project. He's also very happy with what Conte's doing and the promise to invest. So, Andre, do you want to take that one a little further?
Yeah, just to quickly summarize that before we get into the wingbacks talk, I definitely think it's a mutual sort of agreement here where Conte wants Kane to stay, Kane wants Conte to stay. They both won Champions League, and if Conte's staying, the club is backing him, and we have Champions League. It seems just right that Kane is going to follow in that and be like, okay, well, if all those things are being met, then I'll sign a new contract.
Spot on. Thanks, Andre, for clearing that up. Vincent, I'm glad Ivan Perisic is looking more likely than Kostic. I'm not too convinced with Kostic yet. He's had a cracking season with Frankfurt, but I haven't watched him enough. Listen, he's another player that's a workhorse. He's probably... Listen, I think Perisic probably has more experience going forward. He was more of a forward before anyway. So if you want a more maybe lateral wing back, Kostic could be the option. But Perisic is very much a Conte player. Listen, Conte worked well with Ashley Young, who was a winger, turned wing back. Same as Victor Moses, was a winger, turned wing back. So maybe Perisic could be the better option here, like you said, Finn. Let's see. Side Dancer saying, hi guys, it's going to be a great summer. Side absolutely buzzing, mate. I cannot wait. And guys, there's already 15 of you in there on all socials. We gave no heads up we're going live, so big yourselves up. Thank you so much. Army saying, sorry for being late. Army, what are you like? No, I'm joking. You're always here, mate. Thanks for joining us again. Saying Chelsea fans thought Perisic was going to them. Listen, it looks likely he could be coming to us. But Andre, over to you for the concrete news on this. What is the latest on this before we start saying about rumors and stuff? Andre is the research guy here. Let's hear about it, Andre, and what is the facts through this?
Well, look, it seems like all the Spurs relatable here are making it very easy. Let's start off with Perisic. He's playing more of a left mid role, but this season he's been playing a little bit everywhere, which is very good. He's played under Antonio Conte before. That's probably the biggest sort of factor going in that would make this guy proper for a Conte system. It's worked before. He's won the league under him. He's got a winning mentality, even though he is 33. But you know what? There were a lot of older players at Inter, and they still won the league. It was Serie A, but it's all about fitting into the system, right?
Exactly.
He would be going on a free as well. That's the other thing, right? We're already set to sign Forster, which we will make a video of that, guys, when he signs officially. But anyways, at the moment for this season, from 49 matches, he's got 10 goals, 9 assists, 4 yellows, played 3.8k minutes. So that's a long amount of time that he's played for this season. And you know what? We've said it before, right, James, that when it comes to the wingbacks, it's probably one of the most important positions in a Conte system. They need to be 100%. An all-around player. So the stats that I've brought up, we've looked up all three, the forward, the passing, and the tackling. For the forward passing, he has 94% shots on target, 17 out of 18 shots.
But this season?
This season.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and you know what? When we get to our wingbacks that we have right now, you will see the difference. It is kind of scary. Let's move on. 77% pass completion, 920 passes out of 1,100, more or less. And tackle success is 63%, 38 out of 60 tackles are done. Conte has said that he would like to offer him around a 2-year contract, $6 million a year, which puts it at about 38.5k a week. So that's not too bad, actually. That's pretty decent money for a player who knows he's old, but knows that he could win something in the Premier League with Conte, as he has before. What are your thoughts here, James?
Yeah, listen, like I said, he's a proven winner. He's won Serie A with Inter Milan, of course, recently with Conte. He's a Conte player. We know that. He's experienced, which we said also. He's good going forward, which Reguilon, do you know what? I'm not going to sit here and talk bad on Reguilon, but his finishing annoys me a lot. And I feel like Perisic, if he was in that position, would finish it. Sounds like his work rate is ridiculous. He's an international proven player. Perisic, he's a very well-known player, maybe more well-known than Kostic. Well, quite easily, actually. And like you said, Andre, he kind of fits that bill as a Conte player. And I think it's a really one we should be quite excited about. I don't think he's sort of a glamorous kind of player in terms of the likes of, I don't know, an Alphonso Davies, for example, or, one of those kind of wing backs that were well renowned for being, a very good player, almost like a Marcelo back in the day. But I feel like Perisic will do a job quietly, if that makes sense. He'll just do his job game in, game out. That's what I can see him doing. Jay's asking, will he adapt to the Premier League? Listen, I think he will. And Conte's proven that by bringing in 3 players from Serie A that have fitted straight into the Premier League. Kulusevski, Romero, and Bentancur have been absolute revelations, completely adapted within weeks of the Premier League, the transition from Serie A to the Premier League. And I actually think Serie A to the Premier League is an easier transition from, say, La Liga to the Premier League. La Liga, you get a lot more time on the ball. Serie A, you're closed down a lot more quickly, like the Premier League. And that's why I think Bentancur has fitted straight into that midfield. That's why I think Kulusevski's fit straight in on the right wing. And Romero, I don't even need to say anything. The guy is incredible, world-class. He's getting to the world-class stage. But, I mean, listen, I do think he will. What do you think, Andre?
I think so as well. I so far every single player he's brought in has fit in, just awesome, excellently fit into the system. So I trust Conte. He knows the players he wants. He knows the players he needs, and now it's up to Levy and Paratici to get it done. And none of this, oh, you know what, we can't go for plan A or B, let's get plan C. And I don't think that's what's going to happen this time. That's probably why Conte said sure, because honestly, and I'm just going to bring Mourinho here for a second, I know he's been in the headlines recently, I feel bad for him because there were players he wanted and he had to settle for other players because Levy was like, you know what, I don't know how
It
I
has to be
feel.
plan A. It has to be
It
plan A
needs
this
to be
season.
plan A. It needs to be plan A. And I
And we've
think,
got the money. There's no excuse on the money side this side, right?
yeah,
No excuse.
exactly. I agree 100%. So that's our thoughts on Perisic, at least for this one.
Yeah, just a couple more comments on Perisic. I mean, I'm saying I think both Kostic and Perisic are both ballers, but I think Perisic is better for us since he's got Conte experience and he's older than Kostic, which may not stunt Cess's growth in a few seasons' time. Exactly. I mean, Kostic could almost slot into left wing back for 3 or 4 seasons, whereas Perisic, like you said, Andre, looking at a 2-year deal, potentially could only be a 1-year deal. That could be something that's temporary. And Sessegnon, that's the other thing we haven't covered. Sessegnon would gain amazing experience out of this. Like, I think if Perisic comes in, you're looking at Reguilon coming out, personally thinking that might not be 100% true, but I can't see us having 3 left wing backs in the system unless Sessegnon gets loaned out again, who knows. But I think Sessegnon, if he stayed with Perisic, would learn so much. Like, all-round ability, his finishing, his defensive ability, his work rate. It would be an absolute amazing mentor for him. And I think this could work really well, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch for Sessegnon as well to learn.
I think so too. I agree.
Simply Ace saying, hi SpursRelated, how are you? Love all your shows. Really appreciate that, Simply Ace. We're all doing good. Andre, you're good, aren't you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
He says, let's all hope these rumors are true. Until these deals are officially done, I won't believe it. Exactly, mate. Like I said, guys, go and check out our social media. We are all over it. We will bring you the breaking news. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whichever one you guys go on. We're all over those social medias. Just search SpursRelated. Instagram's the one where we're hot on it. We're hot on the stories and everything else. So please do go and check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, just stay tuned for confirmations. Jay's asking, can we win the Premier League next season? See, I think personally it's one too far for the Premier League at the moment. I mean, I just think we should be looking at winning like an FA Cup or a League Cup first and cementing in top 4, like concrete. Don't forget we did scrape top 4 this year. Like, we didn't make it look pretty at times. Conte's worked up a masterclass, but also we have a lot of work to do to even establish ourselves as a top 4 team again. Let's not forget that. So I think one step at a time, Jay, but I do think, maybe the season after, if we're looking good, we're looking close, and we're 1 or 2 signings off again, who knows about the Premier League. But personally speaking, I'm not going to start talking about the Premier League next year. I just don't think it's the right time to talk about that. Andre?
100%. I think we need to just worry about winning something. An FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. These are trophies that should be won if we're going to be wanting to contend for the Premier League anyways. We can't sit there and be like, scratch that. Those are small trophies. We haven't won anything. So let's just get a trophy and first get that winning mentality in here and in here. And then we'll go for the Premier League.
Absolutely spot on.
Let's move on to the next one. We got so many.
Jay saying I wouldn't drop Ben Davies. I mean, let's not talk about that one now. I mean, he could be a good squad player. And dare I say, we get the players Conte wants, we can challenge next year, maybe win something. Exactly that, Mark. Exactly that. We all believe it. Andre, over to you, mate. I know you want to talk about the next player. Go for it.
Oh, 100%. This one's very exciting. We got Kostic, Filip Kostic, also playing on the left side. Just won the Europa League. Pretty amazing stuff. He's got really good stats, lots of accomplishments already. He's got that winning mentality as he just won the Europa League. His contract expires next season, so he will possibly cost some money. And it's one of those things where we have a Champions League to offer, but it all depends on his sort of ties to Frankfurt. He's 29 years old, so he's kind of also getting there in terms of age, but he is younger than Perisic. But I personally see Perisic signing, honestly, if he doesn't accept Inter's offer. But he, from 43 matches, he has 7 goals, 15 assists, played 3.6k minutes. He's been voted, had the most chances created in the top 5 leagues with 123, most big chances created in the top 5 leagues with 34, most expected assists in the top 5 with 15.7, and most crosses attempted with 455. So those are some crazy stats. Now let's talk about those all-around player stats. We've got 61% shot on target, so 11 out of 18,
Still not bad.
70%. Yeah, 70% pass completion, 738 out of 1,050, and then 57% tackle success, 44 out of 77. So I believe it was one of the Spurs relatables that actually said that he's not too sure about Kostic yet. So, I mean, he's 29. So if you're not sure about him yet, I don't know when his prime's supposed to kick in, but, he looks very promising. And compared to, more so actually, if Conte wants him, get him, if he's not going to be too expensive, which he might not be because he's on his last year. And unless Frankfurt are planning to have him leave on a free or give him a new contract, it might be time for them to cash in when whatever they can.
Yeah, true. I mean, just quickly reeling off some of the things you said. I mean, straight away, he's a winner. He's just won something, fresh winner's mentality. He was one of the players of the season in Europa League last season. Everyone was raving about him for Frankfurt. I saw a few of his games and he looked very bright. It looks like he can beat a man on the wing and whip a ball in, and also defensively very strong. International player again, a bit like Perišić, but this time for Serbia. I mean, listen, this guy is a very good player. Is he got the experience of Perišić? Probably not, because he hasn't played at the highest level for as long as Perisic. Perisic been playing in Serie A, which is arguably, I mean, I don't know if it's a better league than Bundesliga, but I mean, Frankfurt compared to Inter, you're talking, completely different level. But I just feel like Kostic could, like I said about the transitions, I feel like Kostic could struggle to adapt to the Premier League compared to Perisic. I think Perisic screams a Conte player. Kostic is like a semi-Conte player, if that makes sense. It's like, I feel like he would take longer to adapt. I feel like it would be a bit more of a shot in the dark. Like I said, very good player, but I just feel like Perisic is more experienced. I don't know. It's a hard one because obviously Perisic is 4 years older as well, right? And like you said, Kostic is 29, but then you say, well, Son's 29. He's still going to have another good 1 or 2, 3 seasons. Kane's 28. He's going to have another 3 or 4 good seasons. Like, I don't think 29 to an age where we should be concerned. I think 33, you're starting to say, well, he's probably past his peak, Perisic. He's turning into the latter stages of his career. But if Conte thinks he's got 1 or 2 seasons in him and he could give the experience away, then I think that's phenomenal. Experience to Sessegnon would be invaluable, and I think Perisic shows a bigger package to Tottenham than Kostic. Personally, if we got Kostic tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset. I would be quite looking forward to it, considering Conte would be fully backing it. But I just feel like Perisic adds that added value of experience, more trophies, more winning mentality, more experience playing with bigger players, and the experience that he will pass on to the other left wing backs and squad. Actually, I feel like that's the better move personally.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where I could even see them getting both, because Sessegnon's good performances have come few and far in between. He is making his way up. This might be a season where you need 3. You need Sessegnon to learn from Perisic. Perisic plays maybe not the full 90 minutes just so he doesn't get injured. And then you have Kostic be your main guy, especially because it looks like Spurs might want to cash in on Reguilon. But we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, I would agree with what you're saying, but this might be the most promising one yet, just because of the form he's in. He's on it seems like he's hitting his peak now. He's going into that form, into that, you could call it the Heung-min Son effect, where it comes a little later, but you start reaching that peak performance later on, and it's just next level. And I think what better way than to come to a Conte system? If Conte wants you have to show up. Who says no to Conte?
Yeah, exactly that, Andre. But the other thing is, I think I'm not sure if you included in your stats, but like I said, in the Europa League, this is where I saw him. In 12 matches, he got 7 goal contributions from left wing back. That is phenomenal. That's Kulusevski's stats. and he's playing left wing back. I mean, you can't turn a blind eye to that. 3 goals, 4 assists in 12 matches, 1 yellow card. I mean, and like I said, he has experience playing for Serbia. He's scored and assisted for Serbia, got a decent record in the World Cup qualifiers. I mean, it's not a bad option as well, to be honest with you. I think this is very hard to pick. I mean, guys, let us know in the chat who you'd rather have, Kostic or Perisic. It's a really good debate. I think we could see quite an even choice here. I'm just going to get through some comments because we're a bit behind. Jay saying, I'm disappointed Sonny was not nominated for PFA because I think he has been the best player in the Premier League. I mean, the fact he wasn't nominated, Jay, is a joke. You know, Golden Boot winner. Literally, pretty much him and Kane carried Spurs, to be fair, Kulusevski as well for the goals. I mean, it's a disgrace, really. I have no idea. Like we've already discussed this before, but De Bruyne, okay, fair enough, an absolutely amazing player. But compare his stats this season to Son, they're not as good. He also plays in Man City, who scored 30 more goals than Spurs this year. It is an absolute sick joke, and it is just a popularity contest. So I'm not going to get too worked up about it because I know that Son was the best player in the Premier League this season. Him and Salah, and that's as simple as that. But Salah was amazing first half of the season, dropped off second half. Son was consistent through the whole season. That is all that needs to be said on this. Wow, the numbers have just jumped, guys. There's 25 of you watching. Big yourselves up. Really appreciate the support. Please do smash a like button if you want to see more transfer videos and player rumor videos. Simply Ace is saying Kostic is a big upgrade on what we have left wing back. I think Perisic is very adaptable to different leagues and played an important part with Inter and also Bayern Munich winning the Champions League, and he is the one. This is what I'm saying. He's played for many great teams, like you said. I mean, Bayern Munich, like one we haven't even talked about. The fact he's transitioned from, you know, Bayern Munich to Inter Milan. Like, what a player. He's won stuff everywhere. Perisic, here we go. I mean, I don't think we got the here we go yet, unless I've missed it. I think we're sorry, I'm going to bitch you. Romario, Caden. Yeah, I mean, might be soon, mate. Might be soon. Nice to see you. Gogeta saying, I feel Perisic can play the Cancelo role for us. Yeah, could do. Yeah. Could do. Vanilla, big yourself up. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. Says, who are we thinking for midfield and a backup striker for Kane? Backup striker for Kane is a difficult one. What do you think, Andre?
I mean, yeah, that could
Basuma midfield, maybe. A lot of the talks at the moment have been defensively. We're obviously linked with Bastoni, which is one we haven't covered yet. We'll probably do that in another video. You know, absolutely unbelievable centre-back. He's going to be one of the best centre-backs in the world in a couple of years. 23 years old, playing week in, week out for Inter Milan. And striker for Kane back up. Do you know what? I think that is the least priority on the list, if I'm being deadly honest with you. I think we have to focus on this defence and midfield first. But guys, get your thoughts on the midfield and defence of who you want to prioritise first. Sorry, Andre, did you want to say something?
Oh, no. I was just going to say that we'll definitely be prepping videos for those when there's more sort of concrete rumors for those. But I think, again, the wingbacks, the best performances we've seen from our wingbacks this season need to be regular performances for a Conte system to work. We haven't seen a true Conte system yet because we don't have wingbacks that can really, you know, when they get the chances, they score too. Like that's really, they are the most important players on the Conte system.
Exactly, 100%. And guys, like Andre just said, we will be prepping videos on all these players we're linked with, only the tier 1 sources, so you can always assume that we have done our research on these. Like, on our social media, we only post tier 1 sources, meaning you won't get anything from the Star, the Sun, all those ones that are just non-credible sources. Only the best and only the ones we're genuinely in talks with. And that's why we're reviewing these, because Kostic is in the plans, Perisic is in the plans. Conte has made it very clear that Perisic is a player that would fit into Spurs, and that is why that is the strong link today. Perisic can play right wing back as well. This is what I'm saying. Versatile player, can play on both flanks. Amazing. Craig, big yourself up. I don't think I've seen you before. Love your dog in the profile picture there. Perisic will be a free bar wages, so room for Kostic also. Wow, we could have both. We could have both. Finn saying Balotelli is a backup striker. By the way, did you see his goal? He scored like this. It's like 10 step overs and then rebonded it. It was ridiculous. If you haven't seen it, guys,
I think he was inspired by Lamella and went like, "I'll do you one better."
Yeah. I went Darwin Nunes for the second striker.
Hold my red card, you know.
Yeah. I want Darwin Núñez for the second striker. Will be a difficult one to pull off. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Darwin Núñez would be a good one. Again, from the Portuguese league, could be an interesting one. But Andre, what is next on the list?
All right, so I think it's time to talk about our wingbacks and the ones that we might have to cash in on. So let's talk about Reguilon first. It's promising, the most promising wingback we've had, or you could say left back, but now it's a wingback. And now it seems like they might want to cash in. It is Real Madrid's final window to trigger that fee, which I think is around 43 million or so.
Mm-hmm.
And but his contract isn't expected to expire until 2025, so we have lots of time to get him to where we want to get him at, if Conte even wants him. He's 25 right now. And here's the thing for you guys that have been listening the whole way through, the stats we just read for those two guys that might come in. Here is the difference, okay? From 31 matches, 2 goals, 3 assists, 4 yellows, 2.2K minutes played, 55% shots on target. Only 9 shots were taken. 5 of them were on target. From 79% pass completion, around 783 passes were made, 619 were completed. And for tackle success, around 61 tackles were done. 40 of them were actually completed. So that's a 66%. It's it's night and day, right, James? You see those numbers?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is with Reguilon, he blows hot and cold, right? This guy can have an absolute worldy game, and the next game you think, wait, he came from Real Madrid? Like, that's how I feel about him, and it frustrates me when he's in front of goal, right? He scored how many goals this season, did you say, Andre? Is it 2 or 1?
2.
2. So he scored 2 goals, right? But that should be like 7 or 8, and that's not me over-exaggerating. I was in the Brighton away end when we played Brighton. In the Spurs away end when we were playing Brighton away. And oh my goodness, he was 1-on-1 twice against Bobby Sanchez for Brighton. And he choked both of them. Like, completely just like his legs went to jelly. He like put it straight at the keeper. And I'm just stood there thinking, if you put these away, you're in the best positions. You've got amazing pace to get forward. It's so frustrating watching him hit the keeper every time. And I don't know how you improve that. I mean, maybe Perisic coming in could also help Reguilon in terms of, I know you're saying like an outward move, but I just think there was something weird at the end of this season about Reguilon not featuring. I really do think that was weird, him not playing the last few games. It was almost like he had a sudden injury that almost didn't exist. And I'm just thinking, was it an injury? I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but I just think, I'm not sure about Reguilon. I'm really not sure about Reguilon. I was so happy when he came in because I knew he had amazing potential. He played really well at Sevilla that year I think it was 2018 or 2019. And then suddenly we're faced with a player that's so inconsistent. I don't know if I'm being too harsh on Reguilon here. What do you guys think in the chat? Maybe let me know. What are your thoughts on
I think a little bit harsh, but I do agree that it's been very hot and cold with him. The fact that sometimes Sessegnon is the preferred player here, that's says a lot. Not to say that Sessegnon hasn't been good. It's just, Sessegnon's still on the learning curve here, while Reguilon should be hitting his prime right now. But also, it just could be a thing where he just doesn't fit the system. He plays left back, and he's in a left wing back role where he's being expected to score. He's expected to score, and it's very sad because, like as you said, it is a player who is very promising. I have never seen a guy have so much endurance. He runs fast the whole 90 minutes.
I can't fault that because 90% of the games he does.
And it's for nothing because he doesn't score when he gets the opportunities.
Yeah, but you say, to be fair, that now you're being harsh because I would say he does really well tracking back and covering the players that do go forward. And when he goes forward, he does track back very well. But like you said, it's just the finishing that really upsets me with Reguilon. It really does. And I just feel like, I don't know. I think obviously he's been a bit unlucky with injuries because he's not played like a full consistent season.
Yeah.
But I just think that hinders him as well, and it's just the finishing that really upsets me. I think he's got great energy. I think he's really liked by the squad. I think he's a really good character in the dressing room, and I think he's an amazing player. I just don't think we've seen his potential yet, and that's me being honest. Like I think Reguilon could play, say his 10 out of 10 is his best performance. I feel like we've seen 7 out of 10 Reguilon performances, 8 out of 10, and even at best, maybe 9 out of 10. I don't think we've seen the Reguilon that he could be yet. And I don't know if anyone agrees with me. I just think there's something not quite right. His finishing needs to improve. He's not quite gelled. I feel like he's gelled into the team, but also like some games you're thinking like, this guy's just turned up out of the blue. Like, who is he? Like, what is going on? And that
Yeah.
is how I feel about him. I'm just speaking from how I'm watching the games. And, some games he's amazing. And we're like, wow, he's performed so well. And some games he's just like, what is this guy? Like, everyone's wanting him out. And I think that's a bit harsh as well. But I feel like he could be on his way out, guys. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
I think it might be time to cash in, especially if we want Kostic and we want Perisic. I think bring in 2 fresh players that Conte for sure is sitting there going like, bring them now.
Absolutely. Reguilon has lots of talent, says Simply Ace, but his end product has been poor. He has missed so many sitters this season, and his crossing is not good enough. Defensively, he is all over the place. Hit the road, Reggie. Sean's in here. Big up, Sean. He says, "What's happening, James and Andre? Room for one more, Sean. We are literally at nearing the end now. I think we're reviewing maybe 1-2 more players, and then that is it, mate. So it's probably not going to be worth it. However, we'll definitely get you on the next one, mate. I'll give you a little message. Do not worry about that. It'll be good to have you on. You'll probably do a live over the weekend, Sunday or something like that. So stay tuned, guys. Hit the sub button and like if you want more. Reggie has the pace and lungs. He's just too wasteful in the final third. Yeah, this is why I get so down about it, because he could be literally world class. And I don't think that's overreacting on that. I think he has all the capabilities. It's just finishing really, really annoys me. What about Milinkovic-Savic? Anything on this, Andre?
At the moment, nothing. But he might be on his way out, so we'll see what happens. We'll definitely cover that if something more concrete comes around. But let's move on to a player that personally I think we should cash in on, which is Emerson Royal. Tottenham have there have been reports saying that they are open to any bids for him, and his season overall has been so. He had a very good end of the season, especially the Liverpool game. But really, when he had to step up for Doherty's absence, it took him a little while, and then he started playing really good. And again, it's one of those things where his very good or best games should be the norm for whoever plays at that wingback position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started seeing good signs for the end of the season. Let's be honest. Like, sorry, my eyes just lit. I couldn't believe that Lazio won 100 million from Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah,
anyway, Chris, thanks for letting us know that, mate. Yeah, about Emerson, I think obviously he was absolutely woeful, and even up till like February, March, people were saying this guy can't play football. Why is he at the club? Get rid of him. He is the worst player Spurs have ever had. However, if you look at it on the flip side, he was man of the match against Liverpool, right? He was one of the man of the matches against, what was the next game after that where he played well? I think he had a good game against Brentford away. But what was the game where I was actually quite impressed with him again? Not the Arsenal game. What was the game before that? Sorry, I'm having an absolute blank this
was
season.
it the Liverpool game?
No, that's what I'm saying. He had a really good game against Liverpool, but then there was another game he was almost man of the match on as well. I'm having an absolute blank. But anyway, like I think it's a bit harsh to say we sell him. I would honestly give him one more season, this guy. I think it was Burnley at home where he played well again. And then Leicester at home, I'm not sure. Norwich away. I mean, listen, he had a good end to the season. And that Liverpool game opened my eyes. He could really play an amazing pass. He played an amazing pass over onto the right wing to Kulusevski, who then crossed, and then we ended up scoring the goal for the Son goal. He played unbelievable against Liverpool. He was man of the match without a doubt. Like, and to step up against Liverpool and get a point, that was huge. That was huge in the top 4 race. And I know you could say, well, James, 90% of his games he was awful. And I agree with that. But he has shown signs he can be good. And if Conte can instill some consistency into this guy, teach him the ways of how to play football and not make stupid, rash decisions, because I see bits of Aurier in him as well, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
And exactly what Mark's seeing here. He's young and still learning. Finn's saying he's not that bad. I wouldn't just rashly sell this guy, because it could be one of those ones that comes to haunt us. I don't think he's ever going to be world class, but I also think he's a good asset in terms of a squad player. Like, think of it. We were thinking of Doherty going out. Doherty is one of the last people to go out now. We were so distraught when he got injured because he was literally so influential. This guy was showing signs at the end of the season. I say give him one more season, see how he does, and if he's bad, say up till January you can't stand him and he's not making any progress. That's when you move him on. I wouldn't move him on now.
See, and I'm sitting a bit on the other side of it, thinking, look, he's played some good seasons. He's given some good performances right at the end of the season. I think it's the perfect time to cash in on him because I personally think he seems like a really good right back. The Liverpool game where he played the best in, of course he played well. He had to be a right back, and with 5 at the back, we played super defensive. As soon as it's a game where we have to step up and he has to move up and he has to be more forward and the all-around wing back that Conte wants, it doesn't really work. So I personally think it might be best to sell him because he might flourish really well as a right back in a different system. And I think if there is a very good right wing back we can bring in, we can use the Emerson money.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a starter next year, but also, like, you look at our bench and it's frightening how little we had on it. So I think, although some players will have to leave, I would prioritize getting rid of 3 or 4 players before this guy.
Possibly.
Lo Celso has to go.
Yeah.
Ndombele has to go. And Winks is the first one that has to go. There's 3 players that have to go before Emerson. And realistically, our squad is thin. Yes, we've started to see a bit of depth because some players have surprised us at the end of the season that weren't necessarily playing well before, the likes of Doherty and even Emerson. However, I just don't think you need to sell 5 or 6 players in this squad. We did get rid of the vast majority in January. Obviously, Lo Celso and Ndombele being alone, but I think this should be a permanent. We should get rid of both of them. And that also showed, without going off on a tangent, how much it was needed to clear out because of the toxicity that clearly Ndombele especially was bringing to that dressing room. We saw it when he walked off, like slow walked off against Morecambe. It was absolutely embarrassing. He got overrun by a Morecambe player. And the fact that moment where we got rid of those 2 players and Dele Alli changed the season. When Conte came in, things were working. We had a good performance against Liverpool. We had 1 or 2 good performances here and there. But if you remember, like his first game, we drew 0-0 away with Everton. How bad were Everton this season? And as soon as we got around to January, bang, we got rid of that dead wood and started to play as a team. The morale was high. You could tell the whole atmosphere changed. Like, I reckon if you were in that dressing room, you'd notice such a difference. And that is the turning point. And that's why it's so important to get rid of players that don't want to be at the football club. I feel like Emerson does want to be at this football club. You can see the passion when he scored that goal against Brighton. You can see the passion when we won against Arsenal, and he shows a lot of passion. I want players like that in my dressing room. And I know it's all about how they play on the pitch, but also a huge factor of being a footballer is fitting in with the dressing room and having a great morale and attitude. And I think Emerson, clearly from even that picture, you can see he wants to be here. Ndombele, I don't think there's any picture of him like that in a Spurs shirt. And please, someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, look, I agree with you in the midfields here, but we're talking about Emerson's overall season. I haven't even read you the stats yet. 44 matches, 1 goal, 1 assist. That's it. 1 goal, 1 assist.
But how many of those 44 appearances are off the bench?
That's true.
But... And how many of those appearances, like I said, 90% of the games he hasn't played well. But the 1 goal, 1 assist came at the end of the season, right? Pretty much. Well, maybe the goal. Also, you probably haven't included the goal in the cup because he scored in the league and the cup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, the stats aren't mind-blowing, but also look at Reguilon's stats. They're not too far off that, right?
Yeah. Well,
and you're not going Reguilon out, cashing on this guy.
Well, because personally, I think Emerson has frustrated me more over the season than Reguilon has. I'm just saying that, like, going off of the news reports here, they are open to hear bids for him, and I wouldn't be unhappy if he left because I think he is a great player, and I've said it before. I've seen him play for Brazil. He's a great right back, right wing back, not so much. We need more output going forward, and I think if there is a player out there that might cost a bit of money, who are you going to get? And you need to get rid of one of these wing backs because one of them will not play much.
I'd get rid of Bergwijn before Emerson.
Yeah, but we're talking wing backs here.
Because Bergwijn doesn't want to be there again.
Yeah, but we're talking wing backs. And between Doherty and Emerson, one of them is going to have to be the third guy that has to wait for one of them to get injured to play because we're going to have three wing backs in there. And who are you going to get more money from? Emerson. Who were we more disappointed that wasn't playing? Doherty.
Yeah.
So I personally think Doherty is the one that you could take the most risk with to see if he'll play well because he did play decently for a few games, and what stopped him was an injury, not because the season ended and he just decided to show up in the last 3 games. So I personally think you could get a lot of money for Emerson still. It shows that he's still a good player, and I still think he's a great player, but just he's a right back, not a right wing back. We need more output from them, and it makes sense that Doherty started playing well under Conte once he got back to playing consistently because that's what he did at Wolves. He was a right wing back, brought into a right back system at first, which to me made no sense.
It was the opposite, right? I mean, Emerson got brought in originally as a right back. He then changed to a right wing back. He wasn't suiting a right wing back role. Doherty came in from a 5 at the back system, played under Mourinho. It didn't work at 4 at the back because he's used to 5 at the back. And the opposite happened. He started thriving at right wing back eventually. So I completely get this point. I completely, take you to the races on that point. That point is a strong, strong point. But I also think this point from Finn, which is basically what I was saying, was, look at we're clear it's needed, but look at our squad depth. Our squad depth is poor. I was looking at our bench at the end of the season thinking, crumbs, we've got 4 academy players on the bench, which, by the way, hold my hands up, isn't a bad thing. But realistically, if we want to be knocking on the door for the Premier League, like someone said earlier, we can't have a bench that weak. We have to have class players on the bench that we can turn to when a game isn't working out and we can go and win a game.
That is also true. But again, look, Finley even says here that I'm spot on about this guy. Top right back, not a wing back. Which, now that we're talking about a wing back, let's talk about Doherty.
Okay, but Louis says looking like Perisic could be the first signing. Hopefully we go all out for Kostic as well. One of them wouldn't be enough. So Louis hoping that both players could come in. I have no idea. There's a bit of Welsh going on in the chat. Sorry, guys, I don't speak Welsh. And Finley is saying Fraser Forster exists. Yes, Andre, over to Matt Doherty.
Perfect. So, as we just mentioned with Doherty, once he started playing back in that right wing back role, he started doing well. 26 matches, 2 goals, 4 assists, 84% pass completion, about 387 of those. I won't bother you too much with those numbers. 75% tackle success, 43% shots on target. But the idea is he played less matches than Emerson and has 3 more assists and 1 more goal than him.
I mean, there was a point where Matt Doherty had 5 goal contributions in 5 games between sort of, I think, February and March, wasn't it? And the guy was on fire.
Yeah, and I personally think this is the guy that you have the least to worry about because it's not like we're going to lose out on making 50 million for him or something. I think if he went out now, at most he'd leave for like 10 or something. Maybe Levy could squeeze out 15 to make it even so that we didn't lose a single dime. But Emerson is the one that you could we'd have to maybe take a small loss possibly, but you'd get a solid 20, 22 million.
Who's going to come in and buy Emerson though? That's what I don't get.
I don't know, but all I'm saying is that they're between these two, because they are open to hearing bids for them. I would say Emerson should be the one you prioritize to go, the one you get the most money for, the one you'd be risking less of a decrease in value. Yes, we have Emerson till 2026, but if it took him all season to finally maybe get a couple games in where we were playing very, very defensively rather than going forward, Doherty, on the other hand, it was a guy who was fitting into the system each game, was playing well, was going forward, was causing sort of that counterattack. He was waiting at the top, getting in there. So it was actually 4 players that were at the top. It was Doherty, Kulusevski, Son, and Kane who were just overflowing into that box that was making it easier for us to score goals. And that's what Conte wants. And the biggest thing besides just overflowing the box is that if it falls onto the feet of your wing backs, they score. And if we need to run back, they can track back and just be defensive as well. And I think Doherty fits that more than Emerson. And there's less risk again.
Well, listen, guys, no secret as to who Matt Doherty's super fan is over here. Got Andre. No, joking aside, they're good points, Andre. Like, I completely agree. I'm not going to sit here and say Emerson is a better option than Doherty. Doherty has proven in those good run of games before he got injured, and unfortunately had a really nasty injury, that he is a solid player, and that is the player we signed from Wolves under when they had Nuno, right? But when we saw Doherty and Nuno working together at the start of the season, you're like, this is his time. But Nuno didn't play his 5 at the back. I still think to this day, if Nuno played 5 at the back, he would still be in a job. I actually think that. Like, it's crazy to think, and I'm so glad he didn't, because we've got Antonio Conte, one of the world's best managers. But it's crazy to think that. I mean, I think for Doherty, his best games were against Everton. I was at that game where he played that unbelievable pass to Harry Kane. I think he got 2 assists in that game. He also had an unbelievable game against Leeds away, if you remember. He actually assisted... did he assist Sessegnon and score in that game? Or he was, again, absolutely unbelievable. He just had
that game too, actually.
He had that run of games where he genuinely had scored like 6... had got 6 goal contributions in 6 games or something really amazing. Just incredible. Simply saying Emerson is not poor. He is poor, going forward. He does not take players on and struggles to cross a ball. And if you notice, none of his teammates trust him as they don't pass to him. Look at the Norwich game. Doherty, however, based on his 8 weeks of improvement before getting injured, has done enough. His passing has improved and he was taking on defences, taking risks. I think he should stay, but as a sub, I agree. It's like the Davies story. I don't want these players to start if we can improve them. And we know now we've got 150 million in the bank, 100% being spent on transfers. There is no reason why we can't upgrade left centre-back. There is no reason why we can't upgrade our wing-backs. And that is, like you said, Andre, at the very start of this video, wing-backs, which is why we've done this video, is probably the most important positions in a Conte system when you're playing 5 at the back. Nuno's still on holiday. Surprised he's taking this long of a break. And Welsh Girl saying Doherty did well, and it was a nice surprise. Absolutely. Andre, any more on Doherty? Any more you want to... I know you're his biggest fan, as we now know.
You know what? I'm going to remove him just for that. All I'm going to say is that we can't be afraid to sell players. If it's not working, they need to go. And Emerson, I feel like it started working a little bit too late. The last 3-4 games.
No, see, I'm going to argue with this because you say that it's too late, right? But Matt Doherty had been here a whole season before.
Yes, but with Conte specifically, I'm talking just with Conte, okay? As soon as Doherty got some games in him, he started playing consistently well, right up until when he got injured. Emerson, on the other hand, he got a lot of games with Conte. It was not working. Only at the end did he kind of start playing well because we had to play super defensively against a Liverpool, things like that. So he had to play more of a right back role, even though it was 5 at the back. And at the end of the day, I think you need to really look also at their price tags. Emerson, you are taking a bigger risk at losing out on transfer money. Emerson it's not too late for him. He's young. There's teams that are like, you know what, he'll fit better in our system. He has some good games in there. Look at that. That's good. Look at him in Brazil. That's good. Let's not ruin him. Sell him, get some good money, bring yourself a starting right wing back who will get that output that Conte wants from his wing backs. I think that should be the priority when it comes to wing backs, is cash in on the players who get you'll get the most amount of money from, that you know it might not be working and there's a better alternative out there. Reguilon, as good as he is, it's not really working the way Conte wants. He wants more of an output. He wants a Perisic. He wants a Kostic who are going to get 7 goals or 6 or 7 assists. So around 14 goal contributions, and 100% that stat's going to go up if you have Son, Kane, and Kulusevski, who are the ones receiving those crosses in and all those kinds of things. And same thing on the right side. I think Doherty is the one. He's 30. No one's really going to come in and spend a bunch of money on him. And I think in terms of experience, it looks like that it would be the best bet to have him as a sub. So that's my take on it, at least. But we'll see what happens. There's the summer. The window hasn't even opened yet. We're just talking about the free transfers that are being made. But just imagine when that window opens, what's going to happen.
It's going to be swoop central. Perišić is going to be cooking. And it leads me on to an improvised way to end the show, Andre. I hope you don't mind. But I'm going to ask the question. Guys, comment below. There's 30 of you in the chat right now. I want to see 30 comments in the chat, hopefully. Every single one of you watching, comment who your number 1 wingback is you want to sign this summer. Is it Perisic? Is it Kostic? Is it one of the other ones we've mentioned previously? Who is it you would like to sign? You've got, I don't know, 50 million to sign on this wingback. It could be a versatile one that could play both flanks. It could be as simple as Perisic. He's experienced. He could fit a Conte system. I want to know exactly who you guys want to sign. And I'm going to put Andre straight on the spot now. He is going to answer that question straight up.
Okay, so I would actually say bring in Kostic. It's a safe one, but if that's an option, bring him. I'm not even going to bother mentioning Perisic because he's free. He is free. Okay, so we have a free transfer. Then you spend your 50 million on Kostic if he were to even cost that much, because again, he's on his last season. Maybe we bring back the whole Lamptey discussion. I'm surprised I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised
maybe Brighton are overpricing him, and Conte knows better than that. And he's like, you know what? I'd rather get someone a little more experienced with a lot more potential somewhere else. So who knows? All we do know here, right, James, is that we're going off of the number 1 news sources that we can, the most concrete news, and it seems like Conte is fixating himself on that left side first. And it's going to be pretty gruesome how he, as I think Conte said once, right? He's like, I'd rather kill them if they're not performing. So it looks like there's a lot of players that might be on their way out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Harry Winks are definitely ones that are going. But it's also, I don't want to create another talking point now, but Harry Winks obviously clearly works hard in training and clearly got the nod for Conte in some of the games where we were least expecting and comes off the bench. Maybe we're still going to be left with Winks, but hopefully I think there is bids coming through from other teams somehow. I mean, I'll be surprised if we get 2 million for the guy, honestly. But guys, it's time to read out your answers in the chat. Andre's going Kostic. Joe is going Victor Moses, Conte special. Do you know what, right? Obviously, he's kind of joking it, but Victor Moses was unbelievable in a Conte system, when they won the league. So, Craig's going for Perisic. I think that's a solid shout. Finn's going Livramento. Nah, he's not a wing back. Ivan Perisic all the way. Welsh Scouts agreeing with Andre going Kostic. Not as to spell it. I think you pretty much got it spot on, other than the S&T the other way around. Joe's saying Shimikas, second best left back in the league. Hands off. Fantastic, Joe. Hopefully Real Madrid score for that tomorrow. And Simply A saying Perisic and Kostic as backup equals perfect depth. Wow, you want both, Simply Ace. You're not messing around. You want to go with both. And Perisic spend big on a right wing back. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear who your ideal left wing back and right wing back would be in this situation. If there's any more comments, I will of course read them out. There is 30 of you in the chat. A massive thank you for all the support. Really, really do appreciate it. Myself and Andre, especially Andre, does a lot of research for these videos. So big up to him as well. And the best way of, kind of showing your appreciation and showing you want to see more of these videos is by simply smashing a like button, maybe commenting after the video if you can do that as well, saying you want more. And of course, guys, keep an eye on our community section on YouTube. I'm going to post more on there and say, you know, when we're going live and when you can expect to find a new video. I expect we'll be live in the next couple of days. Definitely not tomorrow, but potentially Sunday or Monday. You should see another live video where we're talking about all the latest news, tier 1 news, as we said. And yeah, guys, make sure you smash the like button before you leave. Big up the support, by the way. 30 people, and we went live, you know, just at last minute kind of thing. So really, really appreciate the support, and the growth recently has been great. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers, 260 off, I believe. So hopefully we can get there very soon. Andre, thanks so much as always for joining me.
Well, I'm always happy to be here to talk about Spurs, and especially this summer is going to be absolutely nuts.
Absolutely. Simply A saying Andre does a great job researching, is very accurate, spot on. Finn saying, take care, guys. Welsh Girl, cheers, lads. Thank you very much for watching all the way. Some of you guys watching Spurs Relatables, absolutely phenomenal support, watching the whole video. Really do appreciate that. I know he's saying Liverpool losing tomorrow, by the way. That will wind you up at the end. So I think we'll end on that note. Remember, guys, enjoy the Champions League final tomorrow if you're watching it. And yeah, guys, remember, as always, come on, you Spurs!